Hello my friends, I'm back continuing this series which is hopefully helping people that want to get into broadcasting as a career or just as a passion project. So thanks to everyone that's been giving it a thumbs up and giving me some questions as well. This particular one is maybe more broad than just broadcasting, and it's about failure. Definitely think that everyone needs to have a healthy relationship with failure. If you haven't failed, I don't think you're trying hard enough, and that's the honest fact of things. So I am a serial failure. We can take this all the way back to my school days. I was an A and B student for my GCSEs. I then got ill during my sixth form. I was too proud to repeat the year, and I just about passed my A levels. I therefore went from getting great offers from great universities to begging old polytechnic universities to take me for my course, which I eventually did. I wasn't proud of it. I didn't particularly enjoy university. And if there's one regret, it is probably that I didn't repeat that year at school and truly see what I could have achieved academically. So then we fast forward to my early career and I got fired. I got fired from a job in the city. I got fired from the same company where I was one of the fastest promoted consultants that they had. I then went away, came back, and I got fired from that job. The shame of it. The shame of being frog marched from one side of the office to the other, past all of my colleagues who couldn't really even look me in the eye, whether they agreed with it or not, was a period of time that I probably won't forget in a hurry. My early ideas of becoming a TV presenter, well, they failed. I ditched a career in the city. I'd gone into television. And I found myself knocking on various doors only to have them firmly shut in my face. Never really got the chance to screen test for shows that I truly wanted to be involved in. And here's the thing, I left the city to go and work in television for free, so I definitely took some risks and I gave it my all, but it didn't happen. After all of that, I then restarted once again in another career, this time as a tradesman. And society really made me feel like I had failed, because the notion of being a tradesman was someone who was unsuccessful academically or couldn't work in an office. It's a vocation that just wasn't well respected. And I felt that. I felt that when I went into people's homes and they wouldn't let me use their toilet facilities. They wouldn't speak to me, and just generally the way that I was treated. So I was made to feel like a bit of a failure. Then we come on to personal goals, which is probably more important. And I hit the age of 30 and a lot of the goals that I'd set out for myself, I had not reached. Whether it be relationship, financial status, as in like owning a house and all that kind of stuff. Hadn't hit them, failed. And actually I vividly remember for a couple of weeks after I'd hit 30, I was quite reflective and was truly unhappy with where I was. Not depression or anything like that, but it did make me think, had I done enough? Why had I failed? My combat sports journey is littered with failures, from my boxing exploits where I was doing the novice ABAs. My first ever boxing match, failed. Didn't get started in that fight, lost on points. Next up, grappling competitions. First two competitions that I entered, first round, knocked out, failed. And then all the while, the idea was to compete under professional rule sets in mixed martial arts just to see how I would fare. Never got to make the walk. Failed again. Now let's talk about my journey into commentary and sports broadcasting. Things were trundling along quite nicely, but then after about 4 years or so, in October of 2013, I contacted Cage Warriors, who I was commentating for at the time, the biggest platform, huge show in Europe, continued to be so. And I said I'd run out of holiday time. I can't afford to do it this way anymore, and please could, I get about 75% of what I would earn on site. Would you be able to pay me that so that I could continue to do the shows throughout the rest of the year? And I was told, no, might call you next year. Now in that moment, the big platform that I'd had to be a part of this wonderful sport just seemed to have been just whipped away from me. And I genuinely thought that that was it. All gone, all done. Where else am I going to go? No one's going to want me now. And I've only just gotten started. I'm just starting to find my feet in this broadcasting sense and also within the sport of mixed martial arts. And it was at this point that people were telling me it's time to give up on the pipe dream. It's clearly not going to happen for you. Let it go, move on. And at this point, it was hurting my marriage, my friendships, relationships within my family. I was missing weddings, christenings, funerals, holidays, everything. It was all being sacrificed because I wanted this thing so very badly. And it really felt like at that juncture, the universe was saying, John, it's not happening for you. It's time to redirect your efforts. One thing, it was affecting my work life as well. But then I had one conversation with one of my best friends, Will. I phoned him up, told him how I felt about everything, and he said, you cannot give up now. You have tried at this for so long. He believed I was good. He said, you need to find a way to make this work. You need to phone people, speak to people. The universe will deliver for you. Lo and behold, here we are. Thank you very much, Will. That conversation turned things around for me. 1 month on, I got a meeting with the UFC. Not long after that, I was hosting my very first gig for the Ultimate Fighting Championship. It was a Q&A in Manchester with some incredible UFC athletes at the time. Some that were dialing in, some that were there. Really good fun. That then led on to something that I did with BT Sport. We then struck up that relationship with the UFC, and when they decided to open their doors to more international broadcast teams, it was right there. I positioned myself, and here we are today. March 2014, I commentated on my very first UFC event. I think I was the very first Englishman to be on a broadcast alongside Dan Hardy. Very proud moment for me, and I'm proud to this day that I am still working for the biggest fight promoter in the world, on planet Earth. But that isn't where it ends, because to the day, there are still things that I'm failing at in many areas of my life. But just as an example, I'm trying so hard to get certain pieces of content out there, and I'm getting that door closed in my face. The phone clicks off, the email not answered. It is by no means done for me. I am still facing the failures, and you have to take something positive from them every single time and keep marching on. That's the message.